What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. And today, Jack, I thought I was done. I was done. I said goodbye to Game of Thrones. I'm freaking done. Rich, I said goodbye. Okay,
Uh-huh.
and it came back.
Yo,
It
it's
came.
back with a
It came back
vengeance.
with a freaking vengeance, y'all. We are here to talk about House of the Dragon. We're gonna give you our spoiler free first, and then we're gonna deep dive into this dragon, baby. Deep dive in. Man, brief synopsis: the story of the House of Targaryen, set 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. We watch the show. We know it's closer to 172 years before the birth of Daenerys Targaryen. That's not a spoiler. It's part of the history of the show. Guys, I'm shocked. Look, you can see I'm shocked at how much I love this episode. And I shouldn't be shocked. I love Game of Thrones, but I'm like, what else? What do you have left to say?
Well, let me say this. I went into it with a chip on my shoulder, if I'm
Oh,
being honest, because I was like, I just wasn't expecting it to be that great, but I loved Game of Thrones. Who didn't?
come on.
Right? Come on. And
Yeah.
then it started. And the music, it's not exactly the same, but the undertones of what we know and love was there. And I was like, ooh, I kind of like that. And then, wait, is this spoiler free?
Spoiler free,
Okay,
man. Tell them if
still
you love
spoiler
it or you
free. The
hate it.
music happens, and few of the opening shots, the dragons are there. That's not a spoiler. We're dealing with them, and just the texture on the costuming and the
Yeah.
faces of the actors. And I thought, well, that's what I was having problem with the Prey, the Predator movie. I'm like, there was a lack of texture, and here it is in abundance. Spoiler free. I thought to myself at the end of the episode, I said, oh yeah, HBO crushes their content. Of course I was going to enjoy this. Why was I scared?
They were like, y'all must have forgot who I am. Let me
Yeah.
show you
Well,
real
they
quick.
they might have dropped the ball here or there with some of the way Game of Thrones resolved itself,
Yeah.
which is why maybe I walked into this feeling hesitant. But they weren't bound by anything other than the world they had created, so it's all free range, and they
Mhm.
crushed good content. So I was like,
Crushed it.
well, I think this is gonna be a banger.
Rich.
Yo. When it first popped up, I was like, yes. The theme, the beginning theme, it get like Jack said, it didn't hit right away, but it was growing on me. I was like, okay. Then that dragon flying in, boy, I was like, ooh. And you saw the rider on the back of it. I was like, yo, let's go. This is what I need. I need to see some history of the Targaryens because they keep talking about it, keep talking about the lore of it. You got to see a little bit of the dragon princess. I forgot her name. Sorry.
Daenerys Targaryen.
Yes, you got her, but then you want to see like where it all came from,
Yeah.
and we're getting that. We're
Yeah.
getting that right now.
And we're getting it because in Game of Thrones, a lot of the history is about the Mad King and the
Right.
Yeah.
fall. We never get
Well,
like way before that, like how before there was a Mad King, before Targaryens were associated with being brutal monsters. They this all right. All right. We're in. We're
but
in.
Yeah.
but
We're in.
but but this is the birth of the Mad King.
Ish. There's still you still got two generations before that Targaryen's born. This
Oh,
is
this
100.
isn't the Mad King. This guy does not turn into the Mad King.
We're in spoiler territory, so if y'all haven't seen this, I don't know why you be watching this if you haven't, but in case you haven't, you've been warned.
Well, maybe you can't watch it. I mean, it's still HBO and it's brutal, man.
It
I made a little
is.
reaction video because I was shocked.
Let me tell y'all something. Game of Thrones let me know it was here to play. Spoiler alert, episode one, when the Lannisters pushed Bran out the window. I'm like,
Mm,
wow, this is what we're
Yeah.
yeah.
doing. This
Yeah.
episode makes that look like nothing.
Oh, dude, they straight ripped that child right out of that woman's belly.
Oh man,
I
did
was
they?
I was I was like
Bro.
I was like this the whole time.
But the crazy part about okay, so the king makes a choice, right? She can be giving birth to my heir. They're all like, you don't have an heir. You don't have an heir. The only heir you got is your crazy brother. They're like, we can perform a C-section without modern medicine, and they go for it. And what gripped me wasn't just the brutality of the slice. but the brutality of the choice
Right.
that he
Yeah.
knew he already made. He already made. It was just whether he can weather this choice. And
Yeah.
when he was holding the boy, I was like, the king can weather the choice until the funeral.
And the boy died.
Oh, man.
This is
Man.
Oh my god. Well, that's the whole episode, so I guess we're done talking. mean, I mean that's the heart of the episode. There's the joust. There's everyone getting banged. There's the guy killing people on this. I do want to talk about this. So, what's his name? Matt Smith, I think is
yes,
his name. Matt
plays
Smith plays.
Damon Targaryen.
Yeah,
Damon.
he plays the king's brother, the prince,
Mm-hmm.
and he grabs his watchman and he goes to town and he starts punishing criminals,
Police
chopping off.
brutality.
Yeah, yeah.
Police brutality.
Yo, no, hang on. Maybe a little police brutality, but he's chopping the hands off of thieves. All right. And he's
Why?
chopping the dicks off of people who rape. And you know what? I think we should be in a environment where we still chop the dicks off of people who are raping people.
I agree with you, but I feel like as it's very dark. They're running through that town. I feel like there had to be at least one person who's like, I didn't do it.
It's true. They maybe chopped a couple dicks off, didn't deserve to be chopped off. And that's unfortunate. I'll say unfortunate, but if they're chopping some off that need to be chopped off,
Well, that's the beauty of Game of Thrones. Like, no one's just bad. No
so
one's just, you know,
you're right.
this is gonna get
A
flagged. I
byproduct.
love it. But no, okay. So we start off, and it does what Game of Thrones
Oh,
does.
wait, I could jump in. The end where the king finally chooses her as the successor.
Yes.
And they're under there looking at the dragon before it's just a dragon skeleton that we know from Game of Thrones. It's still got some skin on it. And he's telling her about when winter's going to come, that it's been
Yes.
predicted.
Started screaming at the
Yes.
television because they were able to unpack something. It was a prophecy, and we knew
Yeah.
winter was coming. We heard it forever, but he was like, no, the only thing that's going to stop winter is if we remain on the throne, because we have the power to unite the kingdoms. In the
Incredible.
Thrones times, they kill the Mad King, get rid of Targaryen on the throne, and the kingdoms start to dissolve. They start
Incredible,
getting,
dude.
they get so political, so at war for the throne. The impending threat comes in and lays waste to so many people. But in the end, it was Daenerys Targaryen and Jon Targaryen who stop
Yeah.
winter from coming. Like the
Incredible.
prophecy is set.
Oh, man. And you know what? It's still Game of Thrones. You still got the hand of the king
Yeah.
sending his barely prepubescent child into the current king.
Can I tell you how innocent I was? I was sitting there like,
man.
oh man, she's like caring for him because she lost her mom, and oh, the hand of the king is like go there to make sure he's okay. I'm like, this is real sweet. And Shay's like,
How'd you miss that?
Shay's
How'd
like,
you miss what was going on?
my wife is like,
He was like, go get me in air now.
no, I was like, I think she's here to bang him. Shay's like, what did you just miss the whole thing? I said, I thought it was like a sweet. She's like,
Yeah.
dude, you must have forgot what this show
You
is.
definitely
Everyone-
did.
Wow.
My man was like, "Hey, go see the king and put your mother's dress on."
Dude,
Yeah, and you missed what was going on?
I thought it was just sweet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amen. Ignorance really is bliss, huh?
Yeah.
So like, but in classic Game of Thrones fashion, they give us a bunch of information at the top that we barely understand, and we're sitting here trying to hang on every name, but we know there's going to be payoff for it. We get to the jousting, like you said, and we're seeing, and when Homeboy from Dorne freaking like knocked Daemon Targaryen on his freaking butt, we know that's unfinished business.
Oh yeah.
He embarrassed him in front of everyone.
Oh yeah.
And then
yeah, but he was doing his victory. Well, yes, he knocked him off, and then he lost the joust because he was doing his victory lap, I
thought he was gonna die. I thought it was gonna be like the giant.
I knew he wasn't gonna die. It's still Matt Smith.
He wasn't gonna kill you. It's Matt Smith, and he ain't gonna kill the prince.
Yeah,
unless you got to.
But he's going to be conflict later, no question.
I mean, it's set up so well. Now, what's interesting is I was watching this show like, oh, this is like a multiverse of what if Daenerys Targaryen never left King's Landing? Like what if her family's lineage was never destroyed? What if she got to live there and grow up and have a father as a king? Like, this is interesting. This is like they're giving us a a what if within their series because the young the now heir. What's her name? We need to get familiar with her name. What's her name?
I
The
don't know.
new
I'm looking
heir.
at.
Rainra.
Is that her? I think my thing. This might be
Yeah,
messed up.
It
The,
starts with an R. That's for
Rainra.
sure.
Well, because isn't there a Rainier Targaryen?
Yeah,
Like,
Rainier, like the
yeah.
mountain.
yeah. Ah. So,
Look at Lawrence's face.
dude, okay. If y'all don't know, we all kind of just watched this and jumped on right now. This is the fastest turnaround we've ever had. So we're still digesting this material. But what's dope about her is that she's very similar to Arya Stark. You
Mm,
know, she's very similar to these women who are like, I want to be more. And then it's like, well, then you got it.
Well, what's great about her
They-
is she wasn't in quest for the throne. This has
right.
right.
been thrust on her,
She
you
wanted to
know?
be free.
Yeah. So
And now,
kind of like Jon Snow, we know she's of a pure heart. She probably actually a really good ruler.
right. And I didn't do any research, so I don't know if some of this stuff is already known with what happens with them and who gets on the throne to eventually give birth to the Mad King or whatever. But right now, I'm like, how does she not die? Like, how does she not die? How does she not Ned Stark it by the end of this?
Well, we don't even know where this season, let alone series, is going to be going. What we do know is, ladies and gentlemen, buckle up because Game of Thrones is back.
It's
That's what we know.
back. And what's so interesting about this in episode 1 of Game of Thrones, they made it a big point to show us all the kingdoms. We saw Winterfell, King's Landing, we saw the House of Lannister. Here it's like, no, we're going to focus on this one family. We're going to keep it
Yeah.
simple here and sit here, which was refreshing. Don't
But
do,
it's called House of Dragons. So we know that's kind of the nature of this content.
yeah.
And it
They're not
looks like the conflict itself is coming from the House of Dragons, which is
internal,
exactly what the father said. He said the only thing that's going to tear us apart is ourselves.
and it's like I just see a big what if story. Like, what if Tyrion Lannister craved power? Yeah, he's in the brothels, he's drinking, but what if he also craved power? To me, that's like Daemon Targaryen. He's like, I want the throne. Man, when they freaking pointed the Stark of Winterfell,
Yeah.
and it should be it's like cheap, right? It's cheap. You know, if you say Stark of Winterfell, I'm gonna scream for joy. I don't care, Rich. Don't even at this point. I'm an easy date, man.
Yeah.
I'm an
Yeah,
easy date.
well, honest. No, real
Man,
talk.
man,
Um,
dude, I just thought it was. Now, what was interesting? I want, and I got to go back. So Daenerys Targaryen, she was more than just rider of dragons. Like, she walked through fire. There was something about her that was special. Did that?
but you
Does that?
saw that you saw an element of that with the king holding his hand over the fire, having no physical pain from it.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So they're still Targaryen. What was interesting was what he'd said, that if the dragons were gone, then we're just as normal as them. But I don't think you were still in the world of Game of Thrones, and
Yeah.
this stuff exists.
Well, all he said the illusion is that we control them. And that's the
Yes.
biggest
Right.
Yeah.
myth that we put out there. So that's interesting. We've never got to see the actual dynamics between the dragons and them as a people, not just Daenerys. She had a mother child relationship with her dragons, but this is different. I don't know if they birthed these dragons the same way. I don't know.
Well, yeah.
Um,
Well, it's also the first time we've ever seen more than one or two Targaryen.
right.
Yeah. And
And
also interacting with the dragons.
I
Because
was
Right.
so
you
go
kind
ahead.
of it kind of seemed like the Targaryens, they had somewhat of a control to it. Like they listened to them. I don't know if that was through training or whether some type of connection that they have off the rip. But everyone else didn't. Like they were kind of scared of the dragons, like the
They look
handlers.
terrified,
Yeah,
dude.
Well,
it looked.
it has to be a blood thing because that was something about Game of Thrones when Jon Snow rolled up on that dragon.
Right.
Daenerys was
Mm,
like, "This is interesting.
Yeah.
Why is he able to get so close?" Um,
There's still a connection. And, obviously there's the fire element is in the Targaryens, so
Dude,
there's something there beyond
when,
just with the illusion of it.
when Daddy freaking Targaryen said the prophecy was called Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
literally I literally spoke out loud. I said, "Damn, that's good. Damn them, they're good." And that's when I realized that was it. Literally the moment when I realized, yeah, it's HBO. Of course, I'm gonna like this content. Why did I think I might not like this
No,
content? I was scared I might not like
that's
it.
when I got mad. I was
What do
like,
you mean you got mad?
I'm done with you. I gave you my
Oh.
time. I'm done. I said goodbye, Game of Thrones. We're finished. And then at the end, I'm like, I'm back in. I'm
Yeah,
all the way in. I said
yeah,
goodbye to you.
yeah,
We're done.
Yeah.
Man,
yeah. That's true.
and the
This
fact that
kind
it
of
was a
love affair is a
prophecy.
commitment. All relationships are, guys. You might not know this, Lawrence. You've got a wife and child. For those of you who don't know, relationships take a lot of time, attention, and this is going to be a love affair.
And I felt like we already gave Game of Thrones everything we had to give.
We
I
did.
guess they just want, but that's
No,
relationship too,
apparently
man.
not.
They just want more. They
and
want
and and
everything
they're
from
gonna
you.
get it all, Jack. Now, I want to talk briefly about the part that you brought up about how the queen had the C-section. And for me,
Oof.
this is the part that this is when the series went from we're laying the groundwork to, this is a human freaking story.
Yeah.
And these characters are making choices that are devastating, and these actors are making a meal out of it. And when she's on that bed, she didn't want to die. She
Yeah.
was like,
Oh no.
choose me
Well,
Yeah.
she
without
was also
saying a
like,
word.
"Hey, man, I can maybe push a little more."
Dude. And I saw her going, I birthed 5 babies that didn't
Oh,
make it. I've given you my body. I've given you everything. And in the end, you don't even choose me. Now I swore that baby was gonna be a girl. I
Yeah,
thought he
bro.
was gonna get a daughter.
Imagine that. That's what I thought it was going to be. I'm like, watch it be a girl and you just killed your wife. Oof, man.
But worse, Rich.
it's
He
worse.
killed both of them.
Yeah.
Well, but what's even worse for him was it was a son, and that's I loved they did it. They had a save the cat moment, man. I love these moments. They let him fight for his brother at the council table,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's so great was his brother heard him fight for him, and really, man, he stood up for him. And then his brother gives that speech at the bar,
Mm.
saying that his son was heir for
Care
a
for a
day.
day.
Oh,
Damn.
But
oh
Jag,
man.
this is the beauty of the writing. I heard what you heard, but I also heard him hear his brother say, yes, I know that he's this. Yes, I know he's that, but he is my brother. So I heard him say, so
Yeah,
I'm hearing you say you don't believe in me, but the only reason I have his seat, I'm hearing both at the same
Mm.
exact time.
that's
Okay.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he was defending his brother. And what he didn't do at the council was denounce his brother as the heir to the throne,
Mm.
Right.
True.
right? And so there was and that's why the brother even had it when he said there. He goes, I'm your he didn't say I'm the heir. He said I'm your heir,
Right.
which to me said that brother bond was real. He wasn't trying to usurp his brother like that. He wasn't trying to kill the king so he could be king, but he
No.
knew he was next in line.
Yeah.
Um,
But he's salty that he's not hand to the king. Like I'm your
yeah,
Oh yeah.
heir,
Yeah.
but you
Yeah.
don't put me in a position to be your right hand.
yeah.
And
Well, he
he
didn't
said,
even have a seat at the council.
well, he did. He just didn't show up.
Yeah. He just didn't show up for it.
They kept trying to give him seats.
You're right.
He kept shifting through jobs. What was
Yeah.
crazy is him saying when Daemon Targaryen says, "You need me because you're weak, and everyone knows it."
Oosh.
Mm.
And honestly, when this joint started and I heard the king speak, I'm like, "What a delightful Targaryen! He's
Right?
not how I imagined him to be."
Well,
And
and
right,
but listen to what they said. They said those soldiers have never seen war. We're sitting on
yeah,
100 years of peace here.
Yeah.
You know?
that's why they're ripping through each other in a freaking jousting tournament. They're
Yeah. Oh
jonesing.
boy, are they, man? Just any excuse to take a head
I
off.
didn't know you can just kill people in the. I thought it was like, hey, I got
Yeah,
some
You
bro.
know
easy
what's
joust.
it's funny. I went to the Ren Fair this year, and it was pretty brutal. The joust was pretty brutal, but not that brutal.
Well, I would hope not, Jack.
Yeah,
But it
right.
did end in a sword fight and some yelling.
Jeez.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
it's crazy. And watching the children, like this is they're used to seeing this violence.
Yeah,
That was like they were still uncomfortable, which was great.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, I mean, it's like Coliseum, you know. We're competing and we're killing each other, and that's the spectacle, and it's fun. But it's still there's that human element of, Aish,
Well, because it's
ah,
not supposed to. Everyone's coming in their beautiful armor and shiny horses, and you don't like think it's gonna end with someone's brains out like
yeah.
that.
But
That's
the
yo,
older people had seen it before. They were like,
yeah.
yeah, they're getting it out.
The crazy part is, aren't those people fighting like they're people of status? Like they're like
they're nice.
dukes and whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but honor's a real thing, man. The further back in time you go, the more palpable those elements of honor and code and nobility actually mean something. So if you're knocked off the horse, your life doth not mean more to you than your honor, sir. Best you defend it.
And you're allowed to challenge. What did they call it? Combat assault by they gave it a name. Like you're allowed to take it to the
Yeah,
next
yeah.
level.
Like
And
he ain't done yet.
we have to talk about the actual heir to the throne, which is the queen. The what was they gave her a term? The queen that never was.
Oh.
Yeah.
The act, and she married a black man, Rich.
Yo, black man or white. Yo, my thing is, yo, is he a
Oh.
Targaryen? Because he has the white hair. I was like, what's going on
I
here?
feel like he
Yeah,
just
is
got
he
gray
T or is
hair.
he old? Which
But
is it?
but the daughter
No, his
also
kids have.
just yeah. That's what I'm assuming this is his daughter. The black girl, she had white hair as well,
We got black Targaryens.
Well,
bruh.
listen, I'll say this: there has definitely been a deficit of,
Black people on Game of
in
Thrones.
Game of Thrones. So when I saw that, I said, "Well, about damn time. Too bad you got to go, you know,
I
100 years in the past to get to it."
only a fictitious fantasy world made up from someone's imagination. It's not
I mean, somewhere between there and here, I guess all black were
the,
killed from
well,
Westeros.
there's only like three, so it didn't take. It wasn't hard.
Didn't take much.
It didn't take much. Um, so she's at play here, right? And I wonder how she's gonna feel because she didn't get the throne because she's a woman. Now the king says, "My heir is my daughter." What is that now? We're
Yeah,
breaking hundreds of years of tradition
Yeah.
for her.
love
Mm.
it.
It should be mine.
Ah, dig it.
Ooh.
Oh, I tell you what else I dug, and I dug this with a vengeance. Going back to the Game of Thrones series, the throne itself was that throne, but melted by the dragon that
Oh,
had condensed all the, I mean, just obliterated. So now we're seeing the throne before it was melted. It's sharp. The guy literally cuts himself on a blade.
yeah.
And there's just the whole
Dude,
thing is lined with swords.
the
I
meaning
was
of it,
like,
the throne is literally killing him
sick.
because
Sick.
he has a wound on his back now
Yeah.
that's not healing. Because back then
Yeah,
all they can do is burn it or cut it out.
Yeah.
That's all they can do back
Or
then.
bleed it.
A part of me is like, did someone lace the throne in poison?
that's interesting.
Hmm.
Because why is like they were a little confused about why
But
is this not
you
healing?
gotta, I mean, you gotta keep in mind, the plague and different kind of pox. Now
Yeah,
we're dealing with monkeypox, but there were all kinds of pox back then.
they had all the pox back then.
All the pox.
All the
Oh, he had
pox.
all pox.
All pox.
Shouldn't laugh at that.
No, we shouldn't laugh at that. But this is a made up fictitious fantasy world where
Right.
this,
So then
so
let's laugh at
we
it.
can make fun of Westeros because it doesn't exist. Um, like, listen, I'm sure there's much more to open up, much more to deep dive, and have we sat with this for a week like we usually do? We probably have a million things to say, but guys, we literally just watched it and wanted to talk about it. We definitely gonna come back to this. We definitely gonna come back to this. We
Oh
have
yeah.
to.
Oh yeah. Definitely have to.
We're gonna open that can of freaking
Yeah,
worms.
and this was so good. There's gonna be a lot to follow.
A lot of
Oh yeah.
freaking content, bro. I mean, and this is what Game of Thrones gave us that I missed was the water cooler talk, was the speculation and theories and this web and that connection. You couldn't wait to link up with your friends and just talk about Game of Thrones. And I
Yeah.
haven't
Yeah.
felt that way since Game of Thrones ended. Like there was no other show. Westworld a little bit, but Game of Thrones, man.
Nah. For me, it
What's
was maybe like
First season one,
24. You know.
yeah, season one? Yeah, maybe.
24. I have not watched 24.
Me neither.
Oh, well, don't. I'll tell you right now, don't do it because you'll binge it. You'll start 24 and you'll get a couple episodes in, and then you'll ask yourself the same question I asked myself: how did I miss this? It's
Wow.
great content. I watched those seasons because I caught it way late in the game. 24 so bad that I literally started losing track of what time I thought the world actually was in.
Oh
Because
wow.
every episode's 1 hour, but it's like 40 minutes, which is even weirder, but it feels like an hour. But then it's 6 o'clock here, but it's, morning here, but then you just binge watching in a vortex and what is going on? 24 is incredible. Don't watch it. Don't watch it. Avoid it at all cost.
So now I have to watch it.
You don't have time. You got a wife and a child and,
Oh, they'll,
House of Targaryen.
they'll understand. Oh, you're right. I got a house of turkey. Oh, I got to. I can't. I can't. Guys,
So the black dude, I'm just reading up real quick. The black dude was originally a white guy in the book, but they just made the choice to make him black.
What?
Yeah.
This is unbelievable. You
Yeah.
can't just keep changing these fictional characters every time you want to put a minority in the content. Unbelievable.
Zach is speaking for so many people.
Yo, it's crazy how angry people be getting.
I didn't know that people cared that much about the Adams family. I
Wow.
didn't realize
For
like there was
real.
Adams family fanboys out
Like,
there that would
man,
go
you
like,
haven't watched the Adams Family at all.
you
What are you
haven't
talking
thought
about?
about Gomez Adams in forever. Since MC Hammer was like too legit. like shut up. You don't care about. Just watch it. Man, but that's all we got. I know once we get off this thing, I have like a million thoughts. But right now, I guess that's all we got for our
Yeah.
review. I mean, if y'all can't tell by this first episode review of House of the Dragon, we loved it. We're in.
Oh, great.
I mean,
Cannot wait. Cannot wait for the rest of it. Oh man, I really It's
Yeah.
great. It's great.
It's the one thing I don't like about HBO, man. They drop one episode at a time.
they make you wait for
Whoosh.
the feast, man. This ain't
That's right.
McDonald's. Now, Jack, this isn't McDonald's.
Yeah, you're right.
This is a steak, baby.
And it's
Man.
prepared pretty well.
What would you rate it?
I wouldn't.
Episode.
It's too early.
I'm
But
not reading this.
yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not reading
But I'll
this.
say this. It
Not right.
was as good as any Game of Thrones content so far. So I know that to me it just feels like we're just picking right back up.
I'm going to say the boldest statement that I think I could say, and I probably will retract this. I think this episode 1 is stronger than Game of Thrones episode 1.
Yeah, but it's almost like it's low-hanging fruit because it has all the energy and investment that you put into the whole
Minus
season of
past.
Game of Thrones.
Minus the past. Seeing him make the choice to have his wife die on the
Yo,
bed.
that scene was brutal.
That was
That's
the
where I'm
reality
like,
in
oh,
times
shit.
like that.
But the
But
fact
did
that
Ned,
they
when
went-
did Ned Stark lose his head? Wasn't that episode 1?
No, dude, that was like
Yeah.
episode 9.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? It was been years since I watched it. All I know is it was devastating when it happened.
But I'll say this: by Ned Stark losing his head, we're watching this show like no one is like that little.
nobody's
girl,
Oh yeah.
anyone can get it.
Oh yeah.
It's still Game of Thrones.
Still Game of Thrones. I think, and I feel like we're gonna get caught slipping. We're gonna see that little girl who's heir get her throat slashed, and we're gonna scream and go, "Right, this is Game of Thrones."
Nah, she's the lead. We ain't seen that.
You're right. Ned Stark. You know, Ned Stark was the lead of the show.
Yeah, but only for like 8 episodes.
She at least has 8 episodes before
Yeah.
you can't kill her. We love it. I'm gonna go with these dudes. It's unrateable right now. To rate it would be a disservice to how amazing it is. Let's see how this thing rolls out. I don't know if we're gonna come back halfway or do the whole season, but we're gonna come back to this thing. We're gonna go all the way in. That's all we got to
Pause.
say, right? No. I'm not pausing on this, Rich. We're going in
We're going in.
from
There's no
Laruda to
pause.
the Tuda. We're going.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Well, that's the end of Three Brothers.
That's it. We're done.
I keep trying.
Trying
Sorry,
to-
ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed this run while it lasted.
Trying to see what happens. Man, but y'all can catch us. We have a podcast. We're talking about, we do reviews. We talk about toys. We talk about geek stuff. We do the news. I give you the best jokes you'll ever hear in your entire life. Right, Rich?
First of all, you should have heard my joke earlier. All right. Okay.
I
I
missed
got
today's
the guns,
recording.
baby. I
Did
got
you
the
get
guns, baby.
Chris is a little.
Mm.
He
Is
He's
ain't-
he?
gun happy.
Nah, he ain't gun
he's-
happy.
he's
Get out of
gun
here.
happy.
Get out of here, Jack. You just hating. You hating.
I will definitely listen. But
Okay.
we are on Instagram. We're on TikTok. Like we're everywhere where there's media, we have our foot in it. So just Google Three Brothers. It'll all pop up. And hey, hit the notification bell, subscribe, like this video, and check it out, man. We got unboxings. We got Combo Corner with Jack. We got Chris giving us the craziest review of toys
That's just-
rating system.
Somehow he pulled it out of his head and was like, "Yeah, this is how I'm rating this."
38 points. I don't know what it is, but it's freaking dope. Check us out, man. We'll be back. Same that time, same that channel.
Peace.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Three Brothers and a Shot of Milk. We're talking